Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's good to have you back with us at Somaliland National Television. This is the English news with me, Muhammad Adam. Let's take a look at the main stories making headlines. Somaliland Minister of Foreign Affairs announces date to resume Somaliland-Somalia talks. Ministry of Environment resumes a cooperative campaign against private grazing land. Minister of Foreign Affairs Mohammed Yunus held a press conference to inform press the date to recommence talks between Somaliland and Somalia, and recent talks held with Ethiopian government officials occurred in Dir Dawa. The minister stated that talks between Somaliland and Somalia will be resumed in August in Turkey. The minister confirmed that the Turkish government informed the Somaliland government that the Turkish-mediated talks between the two neighboring nations will soon be resumed. Minister Mohammed Yunus, speaking on recent talks held with Ethiopian government officials regarding the commercial transactions between the two countries and cooperation on security. Minister Yunus stated that talks are focused on strengthening cooperation on border security and the two countries' cooperation on several forefronts. The minister elaborated on the major objectives sought by the Somaliland government in enhancing the diplomatic ties with neighboring nations including Djibouti and Ethiopia. A ceremonial event has been held for more than 2,592 graduate students at Jimma University in Ethiopia. Over 20 of them were Somaliland students who received scholarships from the university. The ceremonial event had in attendance several officials, which included the Ethiopian State Minister of Education, Keba Urgesa, and the President of Jimma University, Fekra Lamesa. The President of Jimma University provided a keynote speech at the ceremonial event. He stated that the university has exerted great efforts in taking the university education forward and ensuring that the university students receive higher education with enhanced quality. The university is ranked in top 5 best universities of Ethiopia, according to a recent survey conducted by the Ethiopian Ministry of Education. The Ethiopian State Minister of Education also spoke at the event. He reiterated the necessity of education for every Ethiopian student and the underlying importance of furthering education for the students residing throughout the Horn of Africa. A student speaking on behalf of the Somaliland students at the ceremonial event commended efforts of the Jimma University, the Somaliland government, as well as the Ethiopian government for providing them with higher education free of charge. The event concluded with certificates being provided for the students. Ministry of Environment and Rural Development has resumed a campaign against the appropriation of public grazing land across the regions of Somaliland. Director General of the Ministry of Environment and Rural Development, Mohammed Hirsi, recently took a tour of several areas where the campaign has substantially been endorsed by the residents. Director General of Somaliland's Ministry of Environment and Rural Development, Mohammed Hirsi, speaking to an overwhelming number of local residents and cultural leaders, stated that the Somaliland government has been keen on making sure that public grazing land is protected and that residents provide cooperation in preventing the misuse of public properties through illegal means. The Director General also pointed out prospective development initiatives that have been planned subsequent to government's determination on curtailing anti-environment activities to preserve environment and provide residents with access to better facilities and equipment. Ministry of Environment is credited for taking a strong stance against anyone involved in anti-environment activities. We also want to convey our goal. The current administration has been keen on making sure that Somaliland's environment was preserved. The government will not be lenient to anyone caught with activities that are harming our environment, said the Director General of the Ministry of Environment and Rural Development. Ministry of Environment and Rural Development continues efforts aimed to increase ongoing cooperation with residents of all regions of Somaliland in taking stern steps against anti-environment activities, as well as ensuring more progress for the current environmental preservation efforts. Is still tuned into SLN TV, the only Somali-speaking channel with an English news program. And now for the main international headlines in detail. Hundreds of Hamas supporters have gathered in the Gaza Strip to protest against what they call Israeli threats against them and to express their anger at the killing of a Palestinian teenager in Jerusalem on Wednesday.
Hundreds of Hamas supporters have gathered in the Gaza Strip to protest against what they call Israeli threats against them and to express their anger at the killing of a Palestinian teenager in Jerusalem on Wednesday. As the demonstrators marched, rockets fired from the region into Israel intensified. Israel responded with airstrikes. This protest is a condemnation of the Israeli crimes against our people in the West Bank and Jerusalem, in particular the kidnapping and burning of Mohammed Abu Khadir. Hamas will never allow these crimes to break the will of the Palestinian people, said Hamas spokesman Sami Abu Zuhri. Tensions have been running high following the discovery of the body of the 16-year-old Mohammed Abu Khadir. Palestinians claim he was murdered in revenge for the deaths of 3 kidnapped Israeli teenagers. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas accused Jewish settlers of the murder. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urged police to investigate who is behind the murder. Clashes broke out in Jerusalem following the discovery of the boy's body. Rockets fired from Gaza have caused damage in the southern Israeli border town of Sderot. The Israeli army said the electricity supply had been affected in the area and around 10 people were injured.
Fabian Cousteau's services after record-breaking 31 days underwater.
After spending 31 days living under the sea, marine explorer Fabian Cousteau has surfaced like a fish out of water. He's beaten the previous record of 30 days under the ocean set in 1963 by his grandfather. The record was never really the focal point. I knew it was a hook. I knew that symbolic one extra day would get people's attention. Curiosity at the very least, explained Cousteau. Speaking about his late grandfather, famed French oceanographer Jacques-Yves Cousteau, he added, "I think what he'd probably be most proud of is that we were able to reach so many people. The goal was to symbolically reach 331 million people around the world. We hit all 6 continents, and we are waiting for the metrics, but I believe we are way beyond that." His underwater home, an 18-meter-long laboratory submerged near Key Largo, was air-conditioned with wireless internet access, a shower, a bathroom and 6 bunks, as well as a great marine view from this porthole. The team ventured outside several times every day to get a closer look at marine life and collected samples from coral reefs. While Cousteau's goal was to attract more support for ocean conservation, scientists from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and Northeastern University rotated through the laboratory, studying the impact of changing seas on underwater life.
Tighter security for flights to US amid terror fears.
The United States has said it would increase security at overseas airports with non-stop flights to the country amid terror fears. The new measures would be required at airports in Europe, Africa and the Middle East. The US Department of Homeland Security did not specify what has triggered the extra security precautions. Washington has legal authority to enforce new security requirements on foreign governments because the flights go directly into the United States. The new measures would involve additional inspections of passengers' shoes and properties. US officials have said there are concerns that Al-Qaeda terrorists in Syria and Yemen were developing bombs that could be smuggled onto planes.
That's all we have for you today. Thank you for watching. Join us at the same time tomorrow.